Spirit. Today we have a special purpose: to officially join our spiritual community as one through the ritual of installing Reverend Rafe Ellis as our new senior minister. Would you please stand as we welcome the visiting licensed practitioners, which will be led by our own practitioners, what our Rafe calls them, the 7 wonders of Mountainside. Let me now introduce our visiting ministers. Reverend Davine Joy Young. Reverend Liz Lodma. Reverend Lori Adams. Reverend Jane Beach. Reverend Robert Collins. Reverend Carolyn J. Douglas. And our own Reverend Rafe Ellis. Let's please give him. Thank you, everybody. Please take your seats.
I breathe in this clear mountain air, its clarity and its freshness. As I breathe in this refreshment, this invisible substance, I recognize it as the breath of, call it what you like. My favorite name right now, my choice, is God. Mother Earth, Father Sky, Buddha Nature. It is consciousness, it is awareness itself. It's in all things, everywhere. In the roof beams, in the floor tiles, in the musical instruments, the voices, spoken and sung. The form of God takes in each one of us. We are oneness, and we all do, everything we do here is oneness. God in form, God in action, God draped in beautiful attire, God as the attire. We bless and are blessed by the activities of this day. We are blessed by all that is undertaken here. We are blessed by this commitment and dedication of Rafe Ellis. We are blessed by all those who participate in this ceremony. We are blessed by everyone's presence. Mountainside Center for Spiritual Living is blessed right here and right now and into the future by the activities of this day. We in our community are forever elevated by today's undertaking. As we breathe in this fresh mountain air, as we animate God in form, in action, in all forms, with love and gratitude, I simply say, and so it is. Now I would like to invite the outgoing regional support coordinator, Reverend Robert Collins, to the lectern as the presiding minister.
Good afternoon. It's more powerful up here. It is such a joy, it's such an honor for me to be here with you this afternoon and to celebrate my very dear friend, Reverend Rafe Ellis, in this very special occasion. An installation ceremony is like a marriage of a minister and a center, except there are more people involved. How'd you arrange this one? And so it's a time for celebration. It's a time to be joyful. It's a time to be lighthearted. And at the same time, we know that the Spirit of the Living One is absolutely all that there is and is holding everything in absolute harmony. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, with his vision and through his writing, lit the torch of religious science. Those who have carried it since have believed in the same principles which we have declared as our own today. They knew, as we know, that those principles are impersonal and universal, and that they work for all without exception. And I think that's what draws us together as a community, is to know that underneath all of the stuff that is we're bombarded with continually, there are these principles that draw us together without any exception. We know that the power of the universe responds to the faith of all, regardless of the name by which that faith may be known or the organization to which it belongs. God is no respecter of labels. Religious science does not own the corner on the truth. We know too that an illuminated consciousness, a trained mind, and an open heart together create the greatest avenue through which the power of these universal principles can flow. And so there is good reason to celebrate today the installation of those who carry the torch and declare the principles, as well as illumine consciousness, train the minds, and open the hearts of those who come to learn and to apply the science of mind to their lives. On a larger and more impersonal level, this center, Mountainside Center for Spiritual Living, is the natural outcome of the consciousness of individuals far removed from this place and this particular time. And it is even more than that. This center is in fact nothing less than the culmination of a divine idea in the mind of God. And look at this beautiful landscape, the beautiful individual creations of spirit. Just take a moment and look around. Look around at the beauty. Look around at the uniqueness that is in this room. Each one an individualized expression of this divine idea in the mind of God. Now, on a more intimate level, this experience is also the direct result of an idea in the minds of those who dreamed it, established it, nurtured it, grew it, and who are willing to be its heads, hearts, hands, and feet. Today, we install another generation of leadership, one who by his willingness will add to the already vibrant growth of this center. Ministers, leadership council, licensed practitioner, and friends, we are gathered here today to install Reverend Rafe, a minister of religious science, as the official senior minister of this center. Official notice has been given and received from the Centers for Spiritual Living in Golden, Colorado, our home office, that Reverend Rafe Austin Ellis is a licensed religious science minister. As the minister of this center, Reverend Rafe shall act in the following capacities in fulfilling his ministerial office. And there are 4 points that I'm going to share with you, and I invite you to just really listen to and embody these in your own hearts. And this is not a way of separating Reverend Rafe. That was a Freudian slip. You know, we do like to make up words in this movement. What I will read is not something that is designed to put Reverend Rafe on a pedestal and separate him from you. It is designed to show how, as a center and as a community, how there is a unity and a partnership in what takes place. And yet at the same time, somewhere and with someone, the buck has to stop. So keep that in mind. In fulfilling the ministerial office, Reverend Rafe serves as the pastor, spiritual leader, director, senior minister, and the membership counselor for all who come to him for his assistance. Reverend Rafe serves as an official and accredited teacher of Science of Mind classes under the authority of the Church Covenant with Centers for Spiritual Living. Every minister of religious science must first receive license and recognition as a practitioner before they may be licensed or ordained as a minister. Therefore, he serves always as a practitioner to the needs of the people when the call is made. Reverend Rafe also serves as a model through a consistent and visible practice of the respectful communication practices of Mountainside Centers for Spiritual Living, and ensures that all of the center activities are conducted in alignment with our Declaration of Principles. And now I invite the practitioners of Mountainside to lead us in this reaffirmation of our conviction as religious scientists as we read together the Declaration of Principles.
The Declaration of Principles. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. We believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us, and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it.
We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of any kind, and that any person may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God. We're surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind.
We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. We understand that the life of man is God.
So it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination.
We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of our creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.
If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it.
Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's
nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. You can savor every situation.
life down there's a sensational sensation.
If you want to see magic lands, simply close your eyes and see one.
Wanna be a dreamer, be one.
Anyone you please, and please save me one. There is no place to go to compare with pure imagination. So go there,
You'll go there,
to be free,
anywhere.
if you truly wish to be. So go there,
We'll go there,
to be free,
And now I invite Reverend Carolyn Douglas, the incoming Regional Support Coordinator, to conduct the remainder of the service as the installing minister. Reverend Carolyn.
Thank you, Reverend Robert, and to the congregation. This is an awesome event. This is a beautiful, transformative event. Because from the time I start talking, you will be forever changed. What will you be? We've had such a wonderful song. What will you be in your imagination? I am here to present to the membership and the practitioners and the leadership council of Mountainside Center for Spiritual Living to be duly installed as the official senior minister of this center, Reverend Rafe Aston Ellis. I invite you to come forward. And I hold Rafe's hand simply because Rafe reached out to me when we first became aware of one another. And Rafe has supported me in the things that my center has done. So when Rafe tells you about he loves diversity, when he tells you about being authentic, Rafe is one of the people that you can truly count on for that. So it's with great pleasure that I offer this charge to you. Now don't answer until I tell you. Do you accept these principles and promise to adhere to them and make them the basis of your teaching? Do you so consecrate yourself to this ministry that you will do your utmost at all times to reflect the Christ within in all that you think, say, or do? Do you so dedicate yourself that you will be 10/10 constantly aware of the Spirit within all people, and that you will see only the perfect spiritual person, perfect in mind, body, and in spirit? This one you can say yes to.
Absolutely, I do.
More questions? Do you promise to minister faithfully and lovingly to the people now committed to your charge, and to seek ever to be an example of moderation, patience, and loving kindness? To all of these questions, you agree to do that?
Absolutely.
I do. All right. May the infinite Spirit, which empowers you to do all these things, grace you with the strength faithfully to perform the same, and to live the principles of this teaching and our Centers for Spiritual Living organization. I would like to call the Leadership Council members to come to the stage, please. Stand this way so that I don't have my back to anybody but Reverend Robert. Try to. Now to the leadership, to the Mountainside Center for Spiritual Living, I now present to you those individuals who have been duly elected to serve on your leadership council. Not only do these leadership council members oversee the business affairs of your center, but their individual and collective awareness establishes a consciousness for the entire membership. Recognizing the authority you have entrusted to them, I now charge them with this responsibility. Do you promise to follow the light of truth, seeking at all times to be aware of what is right, rather than, hear me, rather than who you think is right? If you agree, please respond. We do. Do you accept Reverend Rafe as the senior minister of Mountainside Center for Spiritual Living as a spiritual leader and teacher?
We do.
Will you support his vision, his ecclesiastical leadership, and his ideas to foster, nurture, and grow the spiritual community?
We do.
And how about we will?
We will.
Thank you. You may be seated. And now I would like to charge the practitioners, and I would like to invite the practitioners to return to the stage. A lovely bunch of consciousness. Thank you. I now present to you those individuals who are the licensed professional practitioners at the center. They not only have completed numerous classes, they also have been deemed to have the consciousness necessary to be effective in prayers. They offer members, visitors, the center, and the world as a whole. Reverend Rafe knows and understands the role of the licensed practitioner is to be a part of the ecclesiastical team, his posse, establishing and maintaining a continual consciousness of the spiritual vision of this center. You also carry out most of your work in the great and powerful silence. The fruits of this work are manifested as demonstrations in the lives of yourself, your clients, and in the life of this center. Do you consecrate yourself to this spiritual vision and activity?
I do.
All right. Do you accept Reverend Rafe as the senior minister of this center, as a spiritual leader and teacher?
I do.
All right. Will you support Reverend Rafe and the community with your consciousness, your listening ear, your prayers, and your teaching?
I will.
We will?
We will.
Thank you. You may be seated. So this is a wonderful time to provide the charge to the Leadership Council, to receive that support from your Leadership Council, to provide this charge to the practitioners, the ecclesiastical team, and you've heard their support and agreement. Now it's time to charge the members, and I place a charge before you. You are the voice of the center. You are the ambassadors of Science of Mind in this community. You are the backbone as the volunteers giving in sacred service. Do you promise to uphold and practice the principles of Science of Mind, moment by moment, to the best of your ability? If you agree, say we do.
We do.
Do you accept Reverend Rafe as the senior minister of this center, as a spiritual leader and a teacher? If you agree, we do.
We do.
Will you support his vision, his ecclesiastical leadership, and his ideas to foster, nurture, and grow this spiritual community?
We do.
Will you? We will.
We will.
Thank you. Now, what I didn't do was to ask you to stand. Please rise. And tell Reverend Ray, we will.
We will.
You may be seated. Now, we have ministers present, and this is really important because Reverend Rafe is not a lone wolf in any of this. There is a truth to the statement that it takes a village. So I want to include the rest of the ministers who will be points of light and counsel and shoulders for Reverend Ray. And to the ministers, I ask you to stand. As colleagues, do you promise to give of your friendship, your love, and your affirmative prayers to Reverend Rafe? We do?
We do.
Thank you. You may be seated. This gets deep. Reverend Rafe has a spouse.
Yes, he does.
Come forward. Again. In the intimate setting of the home and in those places of vulnerability, this is like the first offense. Deborah, your role is unique in this community as Reverend Rafe's wife and spiritual partner. You have supported and nurtured him through ministerial school, and I read the posts on Facebook. And his personal growth and transformation in becoming a minister. I know that you offer unwavering support to him as an individual, as your husband, and for his ministry. I ask you, members, as Deborah's spiritual community, to consider your support of her role in this center. Keep Deborah in mind in your thoughts and in your prayers as she offers Reverend Rafe a listening ear and a loving heart to support without putting her own opinions above others. Deborah, we offer you this light as a reminder that while you support the light of Reverend Rafe, his ministry in the center, always shine the light that is within you, and to bring forth your own expression of the divine as you. Thank you. Namaste. Now we will have music from Heather Clark. It's been shifted. Okay, no, this is good. Because this is what spiritual life is about. Shift. So we're shifting. We're not doing that at all. We're shifting again. So through the authority vested in me by the Centers for Spiritual Living organization, and as the incoming regional support coordinator, I do install you here, Reverend Rafe, and now as the senior minister of Mountainside Center for Spiritual Living, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining to your office. Teach, heal, minister to the people. Peace be with you. The God of peace dwell richly in your heart through love, and make your labor fruitful unto eternal life. Amen. Amen. Now it's time to place this beautiful stole that I've been blessing. It's filled with love. It's filled with symbols. Please excuse me. It's filled with symbols of what his ministry is all about. I want you to take a look at it. You will get a chance to see it up close as you come to Reverend Rafe, just to say hi or to say your own particular salutations. But these symbols and these colors represent what Reverend Rafe brings to you, his ministry and the love of spirit. And in this very moment, I would like to place the stole of this center on Reverend Rafe as the installed minister of Mountainside Center for Spiritual Living.
Holy wow. Ever since this was scheduled, things have been coming of what to say. And what I realize is that my life has been a journey of opposites in every single way. And before I speak briefly, and I'm mostly saying briefly to remind myself, thank you, Jane Beach. I sat on the end of the diving board for a long time, and you in spirit came along and booted me off into the water. I will be forever grateful. To all of those who have come before in ministry that I will never meet, I stand on your shoulders. And I carry you in my heart. I am very clear that I do not do this by myself. And I'm really clear that how humanity comes to be is the micro of how spirit is. That we all start from this single cell. And that single cell replicates itself identically. And at some point, whatever that cell is knows to differentiate itself and become a liver and a kidney and an arm, or a Rafe and a Deborah and a Tanya and a Bill. That we are that in the micro of the macro. That is the truth of the depth of oneness. That there absolutely is no other. That when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at divinity. And whether I act like it sometimes or not, that's what you're looking at too. I go to the Bible a lot because it's what I was raised with, and I have made friends with it because I was given permission to read it differently. Because it's an amazing history of our evolution of human consciousness, trying to understand divinity, all the way from showing up and there's sunlight and then there's not, but there's little pinholes in the darkness, so we know that the light is still there, all the way to understanding how it all works. And the science of mind for me is, I love what Ernest did as the great assimilator, because he brings the science and the spiritual together, because that's oneness. There is no difference. Martin Luther King, in one of his talks in 1963, I will endeavor to get through this in one piece. The strong man holds in a living blend strongly marked opposites. Not ordinarily do men achieve this balance of opposites. The idealists are not usually realistic. The realists are not usually idealistic. The militant are not generally known to be passive, nor the passive to be militant. Seldom are the humble self-assertive or the self-assertive humble. But life at its best is a creative synthesis of opposites in fruitful harmony. The philosopher Hegel said, truth is found neither in the thesis nor the antithesis, but in the emergent synthesis which reconciles the two. Jesus recognized the need for blending opposites. He knew that his disciples would face a difficult and hostile world where they would confront recalcitrance of political officials and the intransigence of the persecutors of the old order. He knew that they would meet old, arrogant men whose hearts had become hardened by the winter of traditionalism. So he said to them, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. And he said to them, and he gave them the formula for action. See, he gave them what they're walking into, but he gave them direction to how to navigate it. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And that's in Matthew, if you want to know where it is. It is pretty difficult to imagine a single person having simultaneously the characteristics of the serpent and the dove. But this is what Jesus expects. We must combine the toughness of the serpent with the softness of the dove, the tough mind and a tender heart. I didn't know this existed until MLK Day this year, and I just happened to come across it, and it spoke so deeply. Because that really is the journey, to stand in our strength and in the toughness as tenderness. What I can tell you as a leader is that I take very seriously that in order to lead, I have to get there first. My commitment to you, Deborah Ellis, is to never sacrifice you on the altar of ministry. You are my first bride. You are my priority. You are very much a core of my spiritual practice. That will never change. To this community, we belong to each other. I need you and you need me, because that's how we set it up. And that's what we've said yes to. What I know, what I've experienced of you since March, is there is a heart here that goes deep into the foundation of this center. That goes to the very roots of when this place was started. And it continues to grow. And as I've told you many, many times, if I am the greatest authority you have, the situation is already worse than you thought. We do this together. Do not follow me blindly. Hold me accountable. And allow me to hold you accountable. We started this with communication guidelines because that is the foundation that our relationship must be based on. If we fail at communication, everything else fails. So let's talk. Let's share. The authenticity of community is messy. See, community's easy. Everybody plays nice. Everybody gets along. Everybody show up and say the right thing. I have no interest in that kind of community. I want authenticity. I want you to know you have permission to be authentic, that you are invited to be authentic, and to embrace the messiness of that. We're going to disagree. We're going to dislike each other. That's okay. because that's just the human journey. When we see that it's God talking to God, all the messiness is okay. We are never going to shy away from claiming the truth of our being. We are God in form. Period. We're not going to minimize that. We're not going to shy away from it. We're not going to kind of be God in form. We're going to be it. And we're going to grow it. And we're going to let everybody who comes to us know they are that too. Thank you. I love you.
What we still will be, it's up to There's so much to be thankful. There's so much to be thankful. There's so much to be thankful for.
And at the sacred time and in the sacred place, we give thanks. We give thanks for this beautiful day. We give thanks for our new Reverend Rafe and the ministers, visiting ministers today that support him in love and guide him when he needs it. And we give thanks for the practitioners and the leadership council and the members of our spiritual center. For we are loved, truly, it's true. And everything here is blessed already. For God is here. We are the micro of the macro. We're blessed in love, abundance, harmony, joy, and peace. And so it is. Namaste.
Let's give ourselves a hand for this wonderful experience. And so we invite you to remain for the celebration that continues as we continue to welcome Reverend Rafe and to be in fellowship with each other. I do ask that you allow the ministers and the practitioners to recess first. And so Rafe and Deborah, would you lead us out?